Hey everyone, Steve here from theturtlefollower.com, and tonight we're going to switch it up a little bit. Instead of doing a stock trade idea, we're going to take a look at the markets in another stock market outlook video. And what we wanted to just go over and what I wanted to touch on real quick was we've been discussing the idea of a head and shoulders reversal pattern, okay? So you can see here on the weekly chart, the market is trending higher, trending nicely. But here, the one thing I wanted to point out was you could see the potential for this head and shoulders where we have a left shoulder, the head, and then a right shoulder. And what would happen in this is because now we're putting in a lower high from where the head was, right? Lower high, that you would really be looking for a break of the neckline. And the neckline connects the two, I guess, armpits. I don't know what you would really call them, but these two lows in here. So we thought we were kind of breaking down today, and then sure enough, I think once around like 10 o'clock we hit a high, and then we pulled back again, and then I think it was maybe around 1 or 2, we ended up hitting a high again, and we pretty much closed there. So the head and shoulders pattern is good, and I think what I'm trying to say here is everybody's aware of it. So when everybody's aware of it, sometimes it tends not to happen. And the other thing that's instead happening, let's get rid of these drawings, is maybe we're really just consolidating here along the trend line. Okay. See how we didn't get the close today below this 1995. All right, we didn't get the close. Sure enough, we came down. We pushed just a little bit below 1984. And then as soon as that happened, that's when it started getting bought right back up. So if we zoom out here and go back to that longer term chart, let's go to a 2-year daily chart instead. Okay, and we draw that trend line on here. I'm kind of just curious now. Let's connect as many points as possible. Okay, there's those three right there. Okay, so you have the low here from 2012 in August. Another one, 2013. Another one in October of 2013. You had one early in 2014. Came close, broke down through it. All right, we touched it again, and sure enough, look at what happened today. We touched it one more time. All right, so now, again, not saying that this is happening, but the fact is we're right along a trend line. That's where we bounced from. And I think if we don't get the head and shoulders pattern to confirm and continue lower, that we may just consolidate, let's call it between 1990 and 2060. Maybe we just consolidate and we wait for a breakout higher to new highs. Whether that happens or not, I'm not sure. It's just something I've been looking at. I know we're all kind of focused on that that head and shoulders pattern, and again, just want to kind of take it back to the roots of what we do here is we just follow trends. And right now, the trend, you can see the trend line. We've had so many hits on that trend line. We came close to it a couple times. We broke down only one time. Okay, with just the one time on the sell-off that we had in October 2014. Other than that, this trend line has held and held well. So curious to see what happens here. And again, maybe we're just kind of consolidating for the next move higher. And I think that coupled with the idea of the January being a little bit of a weak month, if we can just consolidate instead of pull back in January, that may set us up very well. Now, the S&P is not the only one that kind of looks like this. Again, you can see here, maybe we're just consolidating. And again, look at the trend line coming through. All right, so still above it. Okay, but you can see the low here, kind of broke through it a little bit, but we're still above that low, and we're also above the most recent, I guess you'd call it major high. All right, there's this high here, but you could see we're still kind of holding what was old resistance becomes new support. Okay, that's the old adage. And you can see you're still holding that 4,090 level. So NASDAQ still holding up well. Still has that kind of idea of an inverted head and shoulders. Dow still has that same idea, inverted head and shoulders, but look at the Dow. Okay, very similar to the S&P. Okay, I'm sorry, not inverted head and shoulders, just head and shoulders. I might have screwed that one up, but just a head and shoulders pattern. The Dow still has the head and shoulders. Okay, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. But again, trend line higher. Can't fight the trend. And maybe now what we're doing is we're just putting in a bit of a consolidation. You can see here the Dow almost to the T touched the lows from 1.6. The low from 1.6 here was 17,176, and here we were 17,183. So you missed it by about 7 points. All right. So I know we're concentrating and we're talking about the head and shoulders patterns, but I also want to make you aware that it is a pattern. That's all it is. It doesn't predict anything. The one thing that we can rely on at this point is the trend is still higher until it's not. So right now we're pretty much at the trend line. We bounced off of it today. Let's see maybe if we break below it or not. But for right now, we're holding up pretty well. So I know the video was a little bit longer than normal, but I wanted to really get that out there for you guys. Again, I just want to make sure that we're not making too much of a big deal out of this potential head and shoulders pattern, missing out on taking some long trades, if they present themselves. And with that said, we are entering 2 new trades long tonight for the model portfolio. So premium members, definitely head over there and check that out. Talk to you tomorrow.